guys, it was a long summer of prep work, but the draft is finally come and gone, and football games start this week. This is your commissioner, Roman, coming at you from Dublin, Ohio, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to week one of the 2017 Lampiranus Fantasy Football League season. In today's episode, we're going to go over the draft, talk about power rankings, and look ahead to week one matchups. So the formula that I'm going to try and have for these in-season episodes is reviewing the last week's matchups, talking about any notable trades or waiver acquisitions that have happened, and then previewing the next week's matchups. And for those, I'll just do a brief overview, what ESPN's going to think, and then I'll go ahead and make a pick. I'll track how I do the whole year just for fun. Give you guys my thoughts on the games every week. So hopefully it'll be a good time. Hopefully it'll be fun. Let's start today by going over the power rankings and best picks and worst picks from the draft for each team. So we're going to start at the top with Stevie. Was voted best draft class by all of us after the draft. Definitely has some big time playmakers in Julio Jones, Brandon Cooks, and Gronk. Any of those guys could win you a week. Has a nice rookie running back in Dalvin Cook, who was climbing up draft boards and should see a nice workload this year. And then Marshawn Lynch. Starting quarterback is Carson Palmer, flexing Kevin White right now. So solid roster all around. I had his best pick in the draft, in my opinion, as Jeremy Maclin in the 8th round. Should be a guy that sees a lot of targets in Baltimore. Baltimore's been throwing the ball a ton in the past years, and I think he'll have a pretty decent year for the value he got in the 8th round. And then worst pick to me was Marshawn Lynch in the 5th. I'm just not a big Lynch guy this year. He's pretty old, hasn't played in a real long time, and Raiders already have come out and said they're going to limit his carries most likely. So to me, I'm just not that high on Lynch. But I guess I should preface all this by saying all these thoughts are just mine. As far as best and worst go, I'm just talking about how I think the player's going to perform and then the value that they were gotten at in the draft. So, but yeah, that was Stevie. So let's go ahead and take a look at Shane's roster. Shane comes in at number 2 in the power rankings. Again, pretty solid all around. Has some pretty old guys in Brady and Fitzgerald who might be on their last legs here, but still should be pretty productive. Shane's definitely going to need them to stay healthy. Freeman and Howard, solid running backs. Howard kind of on a bad team that could hurt him a little bit. Devontae Adams, a good wide receiver and a good offense, but could have some touchdown regression coming for sure. For his best pick, I said Larry Fitzgerald in the 5th. He's a guy that always just seems to get it done, and getting a guy like that in the 5th round as a wide receiver too, really good value to me. Worst pick, I said Frank Gore in the 7th. The Colts just seem to be falling apart. No idea what's going on with Andrew Luck. I know they've had some linemen that are hurt. Gore's also getting old. Just don't know if I see him having the same years he's had in the past. Let's go ahead and jump over to Justin. Coming in 3rd at the power rankings. Actually was rated number 1 after the draft according to Fantasy Pros. And I'm also high on him. Justin, again, decent roster all around. Kirk Cousins and the Washington pass offense should be fine. Lamar Miller will have scaled back usage this year. The Texans have already said, but that might see a bump in efficiency. Christian McCaffrey, definitely an electric player. We don't really know what's going to happen with him for sure. Wide receivers are really good. OBJ, AJ Green. As long as AJ Green and OBJ are healthy, they'll produce. And he has Tyreek Hill, who was good last year, should be more of a featured receiver this year, but definitely kind of a wild card there. Best pick for Justin, I liked Mark Ingram in the 6th. Good insurance in case McCaffrey's not everything Justin thinks he's going to be cut out to be. I think Ingram will definitely still be a serviceable back in the 6th round. Worst pick, Bilal Powell in the 10th. Not terrible value. I'm just really fading all the Jets this year. I think the Jets are just going to be terrible. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at Mike, who came in at 4th. Definitely has some good running backs in Gordon and Ajayi. Ajayi, as long as Mike Pouncey's in the game and blocking for him, will definitely be really good, and we know Melvin Gordon's a bell cow. Quarterback is fine in Russell Wilson. Wide receivers, Alshon Jeffrey, an old guy, injury-prone, moving to a new team. Not sure how I feel about that. Martavis Bryant, definitely solid. Greg Olson, always good. Mike's best pick I thought was Martavis in the sixth. Definitely has some huge upside there as a wide receiver too in the sixth round. Worst pick, I said Moncrief in the ninth. Again, no idea what's going on with Andrew Luck. Colts line bad. Moncrief scored a ton of touchdowns. Not sure he'll see that same output this year. Coming in at 5 is myself. Kind of put myself there just to remain unbiased. Obviously, I like my team. Mariota, I got late. Not crazy high on him, but where I got him, I was happy. Bell and Hyde, I think will both be all right. Hyde again, running back on a bad team, but he's the only one there. Wide receivers, pretty boomer bust. Cooper and Baldwin will have to hit on the same weeks for me to be successful. And then Eifert, pretty injury prone, but scores TDs. So definitely happy. My best pick, I gave myself Kareem Hunt in the 7th. That's for someone who should be a bell cow. Getting that in the 7th round is really good. And then worst pick is Eddie Lacy in the 10th. Eddie Lacy just fat, and I don't know what I was thinking. I don't think he'll be that good. So whatever. But yeah, not going to say too much about my team because obviously you guys know that I like it. So we'll move on to Jason. Sliding in at 7. Better than I thought after I looked at his team. Matt Ryan had a really great year last year. Definitely think he'll come back down to earth. Shady McCoy, definitely an elite running back. But after that, it gets kind of shaky to me. Tymont in a good offense, not really a true running back, so he could go either way. Wide receivers are good. Michael Thomas, definitely having Breeze as #1 target is useful. Demarius should see a steady production with those bubble screens coming back. And then Allen Robinson has Blake Bortles, but all the talent in the world. So for Jason, best pick, I said Jonathan Stewart in the 10th round. Like I said, we don't really know exactly what the split between McCaffrey and Stewart will be, and if Stewart has a role similar to what he had last year, that's a pretty good running back value in the 10th round. And then worst pick to me, Matt Ryan in the 6th. Not terrible, but I know I'm more of a late round quarterback guy, and to me, Matt Ryan is not going to have a year anywhere near what he had last year. So I think in the 6th round was a little bit early to me. So we'll jump over to Marco next. And Marco took Drew Brees, which he loves, but starting running back of Terrence West, shaky to me, not a lot of upside there. Flexing Devontae Parker, who we all love obviously, but kind of unproven. Has Jordy Nelson, who's always good. Crabtree, as long as he sees his red zone targets, will be decent. So not bad for Marco. Best pick I said was Zeke in the 3rd. Obviously, Marco will jump up in the power rankings if Zeke's suspension is reduced or even completely overturned. So getting him in the 3rd was fantastic for Marco. Worst pick was LeGarrette Blount in the 9th. I know there was rumblings he might have not or was not going to even make the team, which he did, but Blount's to me has always been bad when he's not on the Patriots, so I think that'll stay true this year when he's on the Eagles. And then moving on to Mark. Mark, again, not terrible. A lot of question marks to me. Jameis Winston, can he turn the corner? Can Keenan Allen stay healthy? DeAndre Hopkins, will he be any better than last year? But he has Mike Evans, who's a stud. Todd Gurley, I think, will bounce back. And C.J. Anderson, I don't really know who else in Denver is going to take carries away from him, so he should be serviceable. Mark's best pick, I'll say Gurley in the 2nd. I think Gurley will have a bounce back year. I think the Rams offense will be a little bit better as a whole, and Gurley should be able to provide good value. Worst, I'm going to say Hopkins in the 3rd. I don't see much changing in Houston. Quarterback play is, I don't think, going to be any better. The volume will be there. I'm not sure if Hopkins will be able to be that great. So heading toward the bottom now at 9 is Dan, who took Colin Kaepernick in the very last round and still has him rostered. But Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, definitely the best quarterback in the league, and David Johnson, the best running back in the league. So a very strong start at the top. After that, definitely gets a little bit worse. Jamison Crowder is his starting wide receiver 2. Kenny Britt is his flex. Travis Kelce at tight end should be good. Showed a lot of promise without Macklin in the lineup. But starting Theo Riddick and Crowder and Britt just scares me. And I know a lot of that was due to injuries and suspensions, but it is what it is. Best pick for Dan, Willie Snead, before he got suspended in the 7th round, I thought was really good value. Second wide receiver in the Saints offense is definitely still a very, very good fantasy commodity, and picking that up in the 7th round was good to me. Worst pick was Crowder in the 5th. Going before players like Martavis Bryant, it just seemed really early to me, but maybe Dan knows something that I don't know. And then pulling up the rear, we have Joe. Everyone knows what happened with Joe with Julian Edelman and Spencer Ware, although he did take Spencer Ware fully knowing that he was hurt. Got Big Ben, who we all know has the home road splits problem, but is in a really good offense. Fournette's a rookie, so a bit of an unknown there, but Jacksonville wants to run the ball. Crowell is on the Browns, who upgraded their offensive line, should be fine. Has Antonio Brown, so got that Big Ben and Brown stack. Golden Tate was really down at the beginning of last year, but finished strong, so there's some promise there. Flexing Jaquiz Rogers, only going to start for 3 games probably. So when you draft Julian Edelman, I have to give you the worst draft, Joe. But best pick to me was Isaiah Crowell in the 3rd round. I think he's going to have a really good year. I know we make jokes about Browns players all the time, but I think he should be decent behind that line. And worst is obviously Spencer Ware and Julian Edelman for reasons that everyone knows why. So, yeah, draft was a lot of fun. Those are going to be the power rankings heading into the season. I'll update those every week. Things I'll take into consideration, your points scored, your record, any moves you're making that I think are notable that will make your team stronger, all that stuff. So those will be in every episode. But now let's go ahead and take a look at our Week 1 matchups. We're going to start at the top with Jason versus Shane. ESPN likes Shane here by 2 points with a projected score of 111.2 to 109.2. Brief look at the matchup. I like Brady over Ryan here for Shane. I think Brady will get his. Matt Ryan does play the Bears, who are pretty bad, but I still think Brady will outscore him. Running backs, I'll take Freeman and Howard over McCoy and Montgomery, especially with Montgomery going up against the Seahawks defense. Wide receivers, kind of split here. Michael Thomas and Demaryius Thomas brothers for Jason. Should be good. T.Y. Hilton without Andrew Luck scares me. Larry Fitzgerald should be pretty good against that Lions secondary. So probably going to lean toward Jason as far as wide receivers go. Tight end kind of a wash to me with Delaney Walker and Kyle Rudolph. But the flex, I think, really leans this toward Shane. He's got Devontae Adams against Allen Robinson. I'll take Devontae Adams all day. And so for those reasons, I'm going to take Shane this week to beat Jason. So next matchup is Roman versus Justin. ESPN likes me to win this matchup by 2.4 points, so 115.3 to 112.9. But I'm actually going to take Justin to win this game. I like Kirk Cousins going up against the Eagles better than I do Mariota against the Raiders, I think. Running backs, I'll give to myself. I think Bell and Hyde should outdo Lamar Miller and Christian McCaffrey, especially with McCaffrey in his first game, although he is playing the 49ers, who are pretty bad. But wide receivers, Justin wide receivers are scary. He's got OBJ, AJ Green, and Tyreek Hill in the flex, going up against Mike Cooper, Baldwin, and Terrell Pryor. Terrell Pryor didn't look that great in the preseason, kind of an unknown to me. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I like Tyreek Hill a little bit better, I think. A little bit of a faster player, big playmaker. Tight end wise, probably going to go with a wash. Bennett in Green Bay is good against Seattle, kind of shaky to me. And the Packers tight ends, never fantastic. And then I have Eifert, who's hurt all the time, so who even really knows there. But yeah, I think I'm going to lean toward Justin. I just like his matchups a little bit better this week. Next matchup is going to be Stevie and Mark Lindsay. Actually, the tightest matchup of the week. ESPN likes Stevie by 0.9 points, 106.7 to 105.8. And I am going to take Stevie in this matchup. Palmer's got a nice juicy matchup with the Lions this week. Jameis Winston against Miami should be fine, but I think I'm going to go with Palmer on this one. Running backs, I think I'll give to Mark. Stevie has Dalvin Cook in his first game as a rookie. Going up against the Saints, though, so a decent matchup. And then Marshawn Lynch, who I've already talked about how I don't like Marshawn. Todd Gurley, I think I'll have a nice day against Indy, who's also heading toward having a very bad season right now. And then C.J. Anderson, like I said, I think there's not a whole lot of other people to take carries from him. But wide receivers, definitely going to Stevie. Julio Jones and Brandon Cooks, I like over Mike Evans and Hopkins. Evans was trending downward at the end of last season. Still a stud, though. Always has potential for a bunch of TDs. Hopkins, like I said, not a fan of this year. Stevie's flex, Kevin White, not good to me. Keenan Allen, a little bit better for Mark. But I think Gronk is what puts this matchup over the top. Stevie's got Gronk against Zach Ertz. I like Gronk there a lot, so I think that gives Stevie a little bit of an edge here. So we have a brothers matchup here. For matchup number 4, we have Mike Telek and Dan Telek battling it out, and I'm going to go ahead and take Mike in this matchup. Aaron Rodgers for Dan should beat out Russell Wilson, I think. David Johnson, best running back in the league, will get his. But Mike has Melvin Gordon and Jay Jai, both really solid running backs. And when you look at Dan's RB2 of Theo Riddick, I'm going to lean toward Mike and RB points. Wide receivers, Dan's got Crowder, Kenny Britt, and Bryant versus Alshon Jeffrey, Martavis Bryant, and Danny Woodhead in the flex. Crowder and Britt, just not selling it to me this week. I like the upside of Bryant a little bit better and the upside of Jeffrey. Des Bryant should have a good game, but I think Mike's going to get the wide receiver points there. And like I said, the flex, I'll take Danny Woodhead over Kenny Britt. So I'm going to go with Mike in that matchup. And last matchup of the week, we have Marco versus Joe. And I think I'm going to go with Marco here. Joe, like we said, is dead last in the power rankings, didn't have the best draft. Drew Brees over Ben on the road, I think is an easy call. Running backs, kind of split on. DeMarco Murray should be fine. Isaiah Crowell against the Steelers should be okay. But then Marco starts Terrence West and Joe is Fournette. I don't really know about what Fournette's going to do. Terrence West, not much of a ceiling, so kind of split there. Wide receivers, I'm going to go with Marco. I like Crabtree and Nelson a little bit more than Tate and Brown. Brown will have a good day. Nelson will have a good day, but I think Crabtree's going to outscore Tate. Tight ends, kind of a wash to me. Jimmy Graham and Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed, his health just scares the crap out of me. In the flex, we have the key, Devontae Parker against Jacquizz Rodgers. Jacquizz Rodgers will be starting for the Bucks. Devontae Parker showed some promise in the preseason and has Cutler now. So I like the upside on Marco's team a little bit better this week, I think. So I'll take Marco. So to recap, this week I'm taking Shane, Justin, Stevie, Mike, and Joe. So I think that'll be it for the week. I'm excited to get things started. Yeah, just keep an eye out for these videos each week. Again, feel free to submit any content you want me to put in these videos if you want to do some stuff in season as well. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week, and good luck in the games.